I hope she's okay.
I can't do it.
Okay.
We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live. It. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Thing sucks.
Here we go. Friday edition of the Daily Puck Drop. It is May 30th. We welcome you in, kiddos, to the live show, whether you're watching on YouTube, on Twitter, also you can listen on the Puck Sports mobile app. And I'd like to give a big thanks to Mitch Levy. I've raised my chair. It actually looks better today. Thank you to Mitch Unfiltered. You are really, we've always described you at our time at KJR as a team player, and you really were a team player. If you're watching us live, thank you. If you want to watch or miss anything later on YouTube, you can find everything there. Just search Puck Sports. Also on all the podcast platforms, Apple, Spotify, wherever you find your podcasts. And, of course, find everything, as always, up at pucksports.com. We're broadcasting from the Limbach Lumber Studios, the world-renowned Limbach Lumber Studios. Contractors that got free deliveries, everything from whole house packages to homeowner DIY projects, the largest stock moldings in the Northwest. They got old school service because they've been doing it for a very long time. 1930. Those guys have been in business almost 100 years. Haven't been pushed out with high-rise condos and apartments yet. And they never will be. Tell you that. Give them a call at Limbach Lumber. Tell them Puck sent you. 206-782-3487 or visit them online at limbachlumber.com. If you just want to go in there and shoot the shit, talk sports, I do that as well. I treat it almost as like a sports bar because they're just all hanging around and they will just BS with you as long as they possibly can. Mark, Paul, everybody over there at Limbach Lumber, Matt, the whole crew, they'll take care of you. Follow me on all the social media platforms, Puck Sports on Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky. We post everything up there and as much content we possibly can. Of course, find us on TikTok, Puck_sports, Facebook, Puck Sports, everything Puck Sports. How many more times can I say fucking Puck Sports? Jeez. And I'm sorry. So I got an email from someone telling me not to swear as much anymore. And you know what? I'm going to take it to heart. Because I can swear too much sometimes, and I don't like it. You're right. Sorry. Again, find everything up at pucksports.com. Become a Puck Posse member for just $5 a month. Ladies and gentlemen, he joins us on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. He's all brought to you by the world-renowned...
Hey, Puck, it's a world-renowned clean streak. A clean streak.
Jim Moore.
Cleanstreak.com. Yeah. Jim Moore. Yeah.
The go-to guy.
Has been washed up, career in the rearview mirror, but here I am on pucksports.com.
Yes,
By the way, I sense the sarcasm in calling Mitch a team player. I know you well enough that... And I also know some stuff behind the scenes that Mitch wasn't exactly a team player.
You don't think he was the all-around team player. He was right, though, about this when we did our show yesterday. He's like, one thing I don't understand about you is that your seat is so low. And I looked back at the videos. I'm like, you're right. Like, I am like a good foot or two shorter than all the guests. And it was a great point that he brought up. So I've changed my chair a little bit, the desk, all of that. So propped up now.
I thought you were just concerned about viewers seeing your tits. That's what I thought.
I got nice tits.
That's kind of what I thought. Says the guy who has no idea what I'm doing with this virtual background here.
Yeah. When are you going to figure out?
Look at my hand. Look at my hand is moving too. I don't.
Are we going to figure out the virtual background?
A clean streak. Professional window and exterior cleaning service out of Oak Harbor, proudly serving Island and Skagit counties for more than 10 years. They'll do it all for you. Brian Turner, terrific guy, terrific worker, professional. Clean your roof, clean your gutters, wash your windows, pressure wash your patio or your driveway or your deck. They'll do it all. For a free estimate, call 360-395-5748 or visit acleanstreak.com. And you have 2 days left, counting today and tomorrow. Today's May 30th. Tomorrow's May 31st. I've had this offer going all month long to give someone $50 if you sign up with a Clean Streak to do a job for you. And I have had 0 takers. So come on. I want to give you free money. I don't really have anything in my Venmo right now, but I'll figure out a way to get it. Well,
you've spent so much money on the hot tub and the putting green. So, I mean, yeah, I can imagine.
Well, no, I didn't do the putting green.
Oh, we haven't done it yet. Do you want me to talk to my guy to see if they'll come down?
I'm not going to do it. It was an $8,900 bid. And the
it can get up
patch
there.
of grass is tiny. And I'm just like, 8,900, come on. $5,000, I might have thought about it, but not
$5,000.
8,900. I should have gone to Alpha Turf Northwest or whoever it is that's sponsoring you. Who is it?
Synthetic Turf Northwest.
Okay.
SyntheticTurfNorthwest.com. You tired of that muddy backyard? You tired of those high water bills, especially in the summer, that grass going brown, your female dogs killing all your grass? I don't have those worries anymore. Want to know why? Why? Synthetic Turf Northwest. SyntheticTurfNorthwest.com.
Can I tell the listener something that I probably shouldn't tell them? That you'd still have a muddy backyard if you hadn't gotten a deal from Synthetic Turf Northwest. I can't even say it. Synthetic Turf Northwest. They gave you a screaming deal.
Oh, I mean, it was
Come on,
screaming deal. I would say, was there trade a part of the deal? Yes.
Okay,
but
I'm just giving you shit. I mean,
classify it as a screaming deal. I still had to pay out of pocket.
All right. Okay. I know. That's not very nice for me to say something like
rain
that.
on my parade. The hell?
I still think I see those pictures of your yard. It looks fantastic. Synthetic Turf Northwest.
Synthetic Turf Northwest.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mike and the whole crew over there at Synthetic Turf Northwest.
God, they do beautiful work.
Oh, it is beautiful work. Yeah, we're gonna get you taken care of. We're gonna get you taken care of. All right, let's start with this. God, there was something else I was gonna bring up before we got into the full show, which is nothing because we don't really do anything anyways here on the show. The Chris Egan, bottom of the hour. So we'll have Egan on coming up at 10:30. Mr. Sunshine and Positivity. The Scout. I recorded with the Scout earlier today. So the Scout's got some great. The team that he works for. You can read into this any way people want to. Okay, by the way, I could tell he does not work for the Mariners, so don't worry about that. He works for another Major League Baseball team. He has been in Tacoma all week long scouting the Rainiers. Now, again, you can run.
So he probably works for the Twins and he's doing advanced scouting.
No, he does not work for the Twins.
No,
it's why would he do advanced scouting on the Rainiers if the Twins are playing the Mariners?
I don't know. They got the Bryce Miller have an outing there. Logan Gilbert was there last night.
Advanced scouting is if
I don't know
working for the Major League Baseball team and he came out 3 weeks ago to watch the Mariners play.
Okay, well, what are you reading into? Okay, wise guy, since you're so damn smart. I'm not going to swear because that one listener was upset.
That listener,
listener is correct about that because we
agree too.
We were at KJR for you were there for years and years. I was there for months, maybe weeks. So you don't swear when you're on the radio, and you don't have to swear, but.
You don't have to swear here. I feel like we get the green light to do it. I replied back. I said, "Yeah, you're fine. You're right."
No,
I try not to do it. I'm trying to rein it back in. I really am. Okay. Well, where was I lost? No, it's if a scout who primarily scouts minor league teams is spending 1 week at a particular club, I think you can read a little bit into. Could there possibly be a trade coming down
for Harry Ford?
I don't know. Harry Ford or one of the other players, all the other players they have in Tacoma.
Well, Harry Ford's the most likely guy to be traded, isn't he?
I would agree that Harry Ford probably is the most likely guy to at some point be traded because I do ask him about Harry Ford. And the point with Harry Ford is that he's blocked. There's nowhere to go for him. And because he's different than Cole Young, because Cole Young is going to come up eventually, and he's got a great soundbite on Cole Young. I mean, he is in love with Cole Young, in love with him, and that Cole Young will come up and he'll play the majority of the games. You can't do that with Harry Ford. They're going to play the majority of the games. So yeah, I would assume he gets traded at some point.
Yeah. And what did he say about Cole Young? Does he feel like he's ready to be called up?
You want me to play the little clip for you?
Sure.
Yeah, of course you do. I think the audience is here. He is. This is the Scout sharing his thoughts on Cole Young.
Great player. So I'm a fan of the game, Puck, but I'm also a fan of players. And I'm telling you, this guy's got a chance to be a really, really good player. I don't know if he's going to be an everyday shortstop or he's going to be a second baseman. The brief looks I've had him on the defensive side, I think he's going to be I think he could be a solid shortstop. I don't think he's going to be a plus defending shortstop, but I think he could be a plus defender at second base. But it's all about his bat, right? He's a left-handed guy. What he doesn't do, since I've watched him, he just doesn't swing at a lot of balls. He walks a lot, he swings at the strikes, and he takes the balls, right? And he just comes up. When I go to a ballpark, Puck, for me to like you as a player, as a hitter, you got to give off those hitterish vibes, right? And he does. When he gets up there, as he strolls up to the plate, he just gives off he's going to get a hit.
When he was given that answer, I thought of you. He just seems like a Jim Moore player.
Why?
Doesn't swing, doesn't strike out, walks a lot, gets hits. I imagine a young Jim Moore when he was strolling up to the plate at Redmond High School, the opposing pitcher was like, "Got to be afraid of this guy. We got a hitter coming up."
Yeah, I don't think I was on anyone's scouting report. My hitting was not. I mean, it's kind of funny. We sit here and rip guys, like Polanco, the slump he's in and all that.
What a terrible
I was in a career-long slump. I was good enough to make the team, but not enough to do consistent damage.
Well, but a lot of praise there for Cole Young.
Okay, so Cole Young, let's get him up here right away.
I think Dipoto, the other day hinted at it, or didn't hint at it, said it. He's going to be up here sooner rather than later. And I don't think there's anything holding. I mean, the scout went into further detail about what the timeline, and I asked him, is there, fear in rushing him up too soon? He said, of course there's a fear all the time of that, but he is forcing them to call him up. So I think that you're going to see him probably within a week. I would imagine.
Okay. That's probably more important to the listeners, what you're saying about Cole Young, but I'm curious, do you try and disguise the scout's voice? You know how they do that, where they got him on a paper, little thing like that. Yeah, because somebody might pick up that it's like, oh, gee, that's John from the Braves.
Yeah, that's Phil from the Rays. No, we don't disguise his voice. We don't disguise his voice.
Okay. And do you ever almost screw up when you're calling him the scout during the interview? You're the scout the scout that. Do you ever kind of go, hey, Brian? I mean, the scout.
Hey, Jack. Yes, I have, and I've had to go and edit it out. Yes, I have.
Oh, have you? Okay.
Of course. Oh, yeah, I've done it several times, and I fear, and I normally, when you and I talk, I don't talk about it because I have a fear as you and I are going back and forth that I'm going to slip up.
Okay, but what's the worst thing that can happen? Like someone finds out that Brian the scout from the Braves is doing a podcast with some bozo
just wants
in Seattle,
to be anonymous
and
because I don't think said organization would want one of their scouts talking about other players. I just don't think they want that. They don't want that, at least publicly. So, hey, I've buried the lead. I'm wearing this. Can you see it? Hold on. I got to get the mic out of the way. Look at this. Look at that. Ballard baseball. We got the hat on. It's a big day in the community of Ballard. You want to know why?
Yeah, voted the hardest place to get to and out of in the country
since 1931. There's a big sign in Ballard that says, "Once you come in, you don't leave."
Good luck getting out. It'll be 8 stoplights between here and I-5.
Welcome to Ballard, where it takes you 45 minutes to get to the freeway.
But I will say this: when you're in Ballard, it's terrific.
Yeah,
but Jesus Christ, getting in and out of there.
Well, that's why we don't leave. That's why Ballard's like it's a Scandinavian town, but it's an old European town. It's just you got everything here. I never have to leave. Never. I can walk into everywhere.
Okay.
So say it. What are you gonna say? Come on, go ahead. Say it.
You don't have any roundabouts in Ballard.
No roundabouts.
You don't have any majestic rivers.
No majestic rivers. Well, I mean, I've got
no golf courses.
Oh, I've got Interbay. Interbay is a majestic golf course. I've got
hookers on 99 though, right? On Aurora.
You say that like that's a bad thing.
No, I just said you have that.
Water. We got the Sound, Golden Gardens.
You got the Locks. The Locks part of Ballard.
Yeah, of course that's Ballard. Of course. The Ballard Locks. The Ballard Beavers, today in about 3 hours from now, first pitch in Yakima of the state 3A semifinals as they take on Mount Vernon. Winner goes to the championship game tomorrow afternoon. It's been a big year for Ballard athletics, my friend. Of course, we've detailed the gymnastics team winning the first state title in school history.
Which girl won the floor exercises anyway?
Mary Lou, the one that just got the DUI the other day. She took.
What?
Did you see where Mary Lou Retton got a DUI the other day?
No, did she?
Yeah, she did.
What'd she blow?
My favorite part is that's your first question. What did she blow? Actually, let's look it up. What did she blow? Can we determine whether that's pretty impressive what she did?
Well, remember Dennis Erickson when he got his? It was almost like, Jesus, you should be. It was like being dead driving.
Yeah, it was the young daughter that lives in our house, took the state championship in the floor exercise. So the first state title was captured by Ballard High School. Jim Moore, they are 2 victories away from capturing their second state title in a sport. This has been a banner year. Softball team won Metros. Softball team won districts. They phenomenal season for them. The soccer team, I think, finished top 5. They were in the state tournament. Lacrosse team was like top 5, I think, and I'm making some of this up. But I know they were in the state tournament and they finished pretty high. A banner year for Ballard High School. Things are changing here. Things are changing for Ballard. Momentum is shifting, and those boys are 2 wins away. Here's the element of the story that I love because I'm so connected to the Ballard Little League and all that. Sir, I'm on the board, coached there for years and all that. I know a lot of these kids on the team. I know almost all of their parents. They got younger siblings that are either friends with my daughter or friends with my son. And I think that there's 11 seniors on this team. I think the coolest thing about this group, I think it's something like 75%, maybe even 80% of these kids, Ballard Little League. It's just so they've known each other just for years, and they've made it all the way up, and it's just a real cool story here. And next thing you're going to ask me, probably, I don't know what the line on the game is tonight.
No, I don't have a line on the game. What I was going to tell you, I have a fun fact connecting me to that game today that Ballard's playing. Who are they playing?
They're playing Mount Vernon. Now, Mount Vernon's got a player by the name that we talk with the scout. We start off our episode talking about this player. His name is Xavier Nyans. Now learn that name because in July, when's the MLB draft? July 15th, I think. He is going to be selected in the first round of the MLB draft. He is a left-hand hitting shortstop, projects to probably be a third baseman, first baseman, and he is most likely going to go on the top 20. Most mock drafts have him going 19 to the Orioles.
Okay, who's the Ballard coach?
His name, and he's been there forever, Doug Montgomery. Here's a cool fun fact about Doug Montgomery. Let me share this with Doug Montgomery. Okay, his entire staff, Ballard alums. He himself, Ballard High School. He basically has lived in the same neighborhood. I think he's moved, like his house is like a block over from where he grew up. His dad was a long-time Ballard Little League president. He's a great guy. So Doug Montgomery is his name. You have advice for Coach Doug.
Yeah, can you text him? No, I want you to text him because you probably have his cell and just say, "Hey, it's Puck. Good luck today. Just want to, really rooting for the Beavers."
Who's on the bump?
Some friendly advice. Just walk that kid from Mount Vernon every time he comes up. I don't care what the situation is. You just walk him.
Go at him.
I know, but what if he hits for the cycle and you lose?
Well, what if he doesn't?
Then there'd be reporters after the game going, "Why'd you pitch to that kid?"
Oh, yeah, I'm sure the Ballard B is going to go up after the game. Hey, coach. Okay, yeah, coach. My name's Sean. What happened in the 5th? Why didn't you walk him?
Okay, but that begs another question. That begs another question. Like, would that be okay to do at the high school level? Like at major league level, Barry Bonds, he got walked when the bases were loaded a few times.
The other star player, I think I've brought this kid's name up. There's a catcher at Ballard who's going to UCLA. and he's going to be most likely he'll be drafted too, somewhere probably in the 4th or 5th round. Okay, his name's Truett Madonna. Wasn't that a great baseball name, by the way?
Oh, very cool.
Truett Madonna. I mean, that's like out of a freaking Hollywood script.
Well, if you go 4th or 5th round, that's good money. So you might not end up with UCLA.
It is good money for sure. It's good money. You're talking get over $1 million if you go somewhere in there. Anyways, I've seen a bunch of games with him. That kid gets walked all the time. So I'm sure Nyans has been walked a bunch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now here's my fun fact. I texted back and forth with my buddy Dan Graves yesterday. Okay?
Dan Graves. Shout out Dan.
Listeners are going, I don't really care about this story, Jim. Well, you might. By the way, this is the first. Have you ever done this? We're both in golf pools. Have you ever forgotten to get your picks in a week? I forgot to get my picks in this week.
Yeah. Do you have a penalty?
I thought yesterday was Wednesday. I thought yesterday was Wednesday and it was actually Thursday. Anyway,
yeah, we get penalized we get penalized. We get money docked off.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, it's costly.
So I got nobody going in the memorial. So I contacted Dan because he's my partner, and I just said, "Hey man, I screwed up, sorry." And then he just, by the way, I just want to let you know he's going to be umpiring over there in Yakima in either the 3A or the 4A games today. And what I was going to say is, like, if you offer me enough money, like half price on a synthetic Northwest turf,
you'll give him a
like
call.
that, I'll get him on the tape for Ballard.
Oh, perfect. Let's make sure that's public knowledge for everyone.
Okay. Yeah.
He's on the take.
Yeah. So I'll find out though more after the game. I don't know if he actually is doing that game or the 4A game, but yeah. So that's my little fun fact. You like that? Was that worth me bringing it up?
That was a great fun fact. I can't. Yeah. Hopefully he's on the call. I like this comment in the comment section from Joel. If Dan Wilson was coaching the Ballard, it's the Beavers, not the Braves. He would pitch the kid every time.
Yeah.
Hey, I was on one of this about the Ballard High School. We should be the Vikings, right? I mean, it's a bunch of Norwegians here. Conquered this area.
The alliterative, whatever that is, Ballard Beavers, a couple of B's.
I do. I like Ballard Beavers, but the Ballard Vikings, come on. That's got a good ring to it.
No, the Beavers. God, I get so excited. Like I'm working the concerts again, and Brad Paisley was in town last night down here in Bend. And
who was in town? Who was in town Monday?
James Taylor. Wait a minute. Oh, I mean, yeah.
Because when we were going to the Good Life Brewery, which is right by the venue, or close to the venue, there was an old couple like your age who was asking us where the venue is, where the concert is.
Yeah.
And I was and I saw all these old people kind of waddling over there, and I was thinking, I want to know who's playing there. So James Taylor, perfect.
Well, actually, it was 2 Mondays ago that James Taylor was there. I'm not sure who was. Oh, I know, it was Sting. Sting was here Monday.
Oh, okay, Sting. I actually, you know what? I would have went. First of all, I would have gone to James Taylor, and I would have gone to Sting.
Would you? Both of them?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. But yeah, James Taylor. God, I felt young that night. Seeing everybody come through there.
Awesome. I bet that was a fun concert.
Yeah, I think so. God, James Taylor, he's a big deal. But why did I bring this up?
You were working.
I know. Yeah, the Beavers. So every time I see somebody with an Oregon State, the Beaver logo, I'm just like, go Beavers, man. I'm a Coug. I'm a Coug. We're rooting for you. Yeah, we're rooting for you too. Yeah.
Do you not give him the chainsaw?
Love the Beavers. Oh, I should. I'll do that next time. Yeah. I see Duck fans coming in. I'm like, don't say anything to them.
Yeah. Is there a concert? Did you work? Are you back working in the concert venue?
Yeah, back working the concert venue.
Okay.
Although I'm a little, God, I don't know if I should bring this up or not.
Yes. Anytime you say you should, you should. Yeah. Did you let somebody else in with a gun?
No. No. Yeah, I don't even know how to say this exactly, but it's a good story. But I got to get clearance from my CEO to be able to tell you.
Okay, your CEO. All right.
Yeah, because she's not working the concerts with me this year, and I have a reason I could tell you about.
Oh, she's been asked not to come back, huh?
It's an interesting story that I think is total bullshit. And excuse me, listener, but it's not BS. It's bullshit.
Okay, remember we're not swearing.
As to why she's not there, and she's missed there. And anyway,
Yes, she's missed everywhere.
I think you would agree with me that she should still be there working after I tell you what happened.
I think she should be go to one of the breweries. They need some help. Have her bounce.
Well, you know what she's going to do? I tried to get a golf course marshal job or a starter job at Sun River. And Sun River's gone private, so you can't play down there now unless you're a member.
That. What a terrible. So wait a minute. I heard that. So if I stay now at the Sun River Resort,
you can play. I think you can play if you do that.
If you stay there, you can play. But now, if you don't stay there, you can't play there anymore.
Not to my knowledge, or you have to pay like some exorbitant resort fee before you pay the green fees. Yeah, 3 courses there. I mean, I know Crosswater is expensive for most people anyway, like us, but to play Woodlands and the Meadows courses there, yeah, they're all private. So I thought, well, gee, I have a good idea. Why don't I just be a golf course marshal there, and then I can play there? Yeah. The guy got back to me, the director of golf, and he said, no, you can't. He goes, we've already got that filled up. We don't need anybody in that area. But if your wife wants to be a beverage cart girl, have her give me a call.
Yes, yes.
Kathy's, an older gal, but she's a good-looking gal.
Beautiful.
And she likes She likes flirting with guys. She would
she does.
She'd make money hand over fist doing that. So I'm hoping that if you golf at Sun River, anybody who's down this way this summer, you might see my wife out there. She's always serving the cocktail, and she's going to pour you a good drink. She's not going to cheat you. She won't.
Wow, but I mean, how much can she pour you a really good drink? It's the airplane bottles. I mean, she starts going through all the airplane bottles. I mean, she's going to get.
Well, not every beverage cart. Some of them have the full freight fists.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So anyway,
problem with her, she'd be pouring and then pulling off and taking a rip herself, though.
That's a possibility.
Yeah, it is.
Possibility.
It's a strong. Yeah. She actually would be terrific at it. Terrific.
I think she would be.
Oh.
I think she would be. Would you be disappointed though if you're out there golfing and going, God, I was kind of hoping the beverage cart girl was, like 26 instead of 66? I mean,
not with your wife, not with Kathy Moore. I would not.
No. Okay. All right. Hey, we've avoided the Mariners. Why have you avoided the Mariners? Did the scouts say anything about Polanco? Like, what's going on with him? 1 for 28. First of all,
okay, this is coming from someone who likes to bunt. I like it. Why is he bunting? He's done this like 3 other times this year. What is he doing? Can he not swing? Is that why he's doing it?
Because he's lost confidence.
Okay, but no. He did this, Jim. He did this in the beginning of the season when he was on a tear. Like, what is he doing? He did it twice last night. Like, why?
Well, he's probably thinking, gee, if I do this every once in a while, then the infielders have to respect the fact that I might do it again, and that'll give me more room in the infield for the ball to get through.
He's not a guy that should ever be bunting.
Even, I was listening to Riz at the time, and Riz is always like, what a beautiful day at the ballpark, right?
Riz is like,
but when he bunted, you could even sense in Rick Riz's voice, it was like, yeah, well,
why?
Yeah, I know you.
What are we doing?
He didn't say it like that, but you could tell by the tone of his voice that Riz was surprised by that too.
Yeah, it's just odd, and the timing of it when he does it is odd. It's what I mean.
I mean, maybe he'd talk to reporters afterwards and say, "I was trying to catch him by surprise."
I mean, maybe.
I mean, nobody would buy it. But have you ever seen something like this where the guy was just like so red hot that you couldn't even touch him? I mean, he's up there with Aaron Judge for several weeks, and now he'd be optioned to Tacoma off of his last 3 weeks.
It is. I mean, we've discussed how there was always going to be a drop with him because it's just inevitable that it was
precipitous.
Great word. But how far was it going to go? That's why I think there's a combo of a regression, clearly, but I also think that he's hurt and he's just not letting on how hurt he is. I don't think that knee was ever 100%. Well, it clearly wasn't 100% when he started the season.
Mm-hmm.
So he's had to deal with that. I bet it's gotten worse over the course. It's gotten worse over the course of the season. And then this oblique thing that he's been dealing with, that probably hasn't, that's just without him just sitting down, it's not going to get better. That's why I think when Dipoto the other day hints at Cole Young coming up, is that I think that they're going to, he comes in. I know that he hasn't been playing second base, but now you throw him in at second base. Somebody else is going to DH for a while, and he probably hits the IL to maybe recover. But
you're going to be disappointed in me for bringing this up.
Yeah.
I won't do it. I'm trying to measure the degree of disappointment when I bring this up.
Bring it up.
But I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a scale of probably a 6 on a scale of 1 to 10 of disappointment, because you'll wonder why I listened to this show this morning, but I did. And I heard Chuck Powell talk, at KJR. We used to work with him.
I remember Chuck. Yes, I do.
Yes. Okay. But he made a good point. It was a rare one for Chuck, but he did make a good point. So I'm trying to throw that backhand in there for you so that you won't be as disappointed.
I'm not going to be disappointed. I'm having lunch with Chuck Powell today.
No, you're not.
I swear, hand to God.
I know, but you told me not to listen to their show.
No, I never said that. I said stop referencing it on this show.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't mean we can't have lunch and hang out.
I don't know why I'm laughing. I really don't.
Okay. So what did Chuck say?
Two great points. Great points. And we've already talked about Harry Ford and Cole Young.
Yeah.
You bring Cole Young up like today, like as soon as possible. You bring him up, you put him in at second base. He's your starter. Dylan Moore can go back to doing, playing everywhere he wants to play. Okay. You do that. And then you send Rivas down to make room for him. Okay. Then you bring up Harry Ford, and we know that he can't catch, but you can maybe mix him in, with Garver. And then Garver, no one's going to miss him. Is Harry Ford good enough to be a backup and then be a DH? And you play him that way? Have Harry Ford be your DH.
No way. Sorry. No way.
You don't like that?
No way. Not at his. No, you don't break in a guy in Major League Baseball and be like DH. No. No,
well, why? Why not try?
Because there's too much going on, and you're going to ask a rookie to come in and be your DH. Yeah, I think that has disaster written all over.
How about get rid of Garver and have him be the backup catcher and DH, and that's how you get at bats for him.
I just said that having him be the DH would be a disaster.
No, but you also have him be the backup catcher.
Yeah, but he's not going to play. He's going to play once a week. The guy above him does not take a break. He plays every
I
single
understand
day.
that, but let's say he's a catcher once or twice a week, and then you have him be the DH the other times.
I just don't think I'm going to put in a rookie at DH ever like that. And I just think he's got to catch way more than once or twice a week. He needs to develop. The scout gets in it. He's not a polished catcher. He's not. He needs to develop more. By playing once or twice a week, that's not getting him ready to be a full-time catcher.
Okay. Well, it's in keeping with bad ideas that I bring up. So, I mean, what the hell? Roll the dice, maybe he'll be like, to this point, it had never happened before in Major League history. But boy, when the Mariners brought up Harry Ford, he became the best DH of all time. I mean, I know that's going too far with it, but there's a chance that you could break the mold a little bit and change history. How's that?
He is our DH here at Puck Sports. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Chris Egan. Hey, shocker. He's wearing something related to the Olympics. And the small can we get
what's it mean when a guy has a yapper dog?
Yeah, what's the dog's name again?
Guys, the dog that's Charlie's listening to
Tell
Chucky.
Charlie to shut the F up.
Charlie, we're listening to Chucky and Bucky right now. Or is that the way?
That's unfair.
It's just the Puck podcast.
Oh,
Chris, they kept those guys and they got rid of us. Can you believe it?
I'm looking at you two, and I'm like, why? I mean,
I think 95% of the audience would agree with said move.
I feel like every Friday I'm in the middle of a Step Brothers Part 3, Part 4 with you two movie.
What do you think of bringing?
What is Charlie? Is Charlie like a Maltese or what?
She's a what is she? She's like a I don't
Annoying.
even know.
Can you go grab her? Can you grab her so we can see her?
Yeah, go get her.
I'll get her for you.
Yeah, go
Jim.
get Charlie.
Yeah.
There we
Charlie, come here. Jim wants to see
go.
you.
I was hoping Chris wasn't wearing pants. He'd pop up
Oh,
and
look
like,
at Charlie's allowed on the furniture.
hey, Charlie, what's up, Charlie?
Hey, say hi to Jason and Jim. There's
Charlie, go Cougs.
She gets more haircuts, Jim, than I do. She gets what's called a bath and tidy, is what they call it. She gets a monthly bath and tidy. She's got a little scarf on here. All right, Charlie.
All right, Charlie.
That's a cute dog, Chris.
Yeah, she's a fun dog. Except, Jim, when she gets up at 2 a.m. and decides it's playtime in the backyard, and I'm out there just like a zombie in my underpants while she's running around. And I have to be out there with her, Jim, because we got coyotes that roam around. And so it's the one night you take off, the coyote's going to jump the fence and grab her. So
Coyotes in Puyallup?
We got coyotes, no bear, but we got some eagles, so we got to keep an eye. She's only 8 pounds, so.
Hey, besides Charlie, do you have a real dog too, or?
So Jim, great question, and I'm a dog fan, and I grew up, Jim, with probably you love dog stories. So I grew up on the North Hill of Puyallup, and we had an old English sheepdog called Bojo, and Bojo was
great name.
Bojo was king of the North, and then there was a Pat Schatz had Irving, which was a kind of a big. Oh gosh, I'm trying to think of like the dogs, like they're almost the police dogs. I don't even know the name of them, but they're the police type of dogs. They sniff the drugs. German Shepherd. So Irving was a German Shepherd, was king of the South, and we had Bojo, king of the North. And Jim, back in the day when these two would meet, it was like all the neighborhood kids would come together and they'd go at it. It was Royal Rumble time, and Bojo held his own all the time. So we had big old Bojo, and then we got a German short-haired pointer, Rodney Danger in the Field, which was our pheasant hunting dog. And then somewhere along the way, Jim, when I got married, I ended up getting a Persian cat and little dogs. So I don't know what's happened, Jim.
Do you have to take Charlie on a walk?
Yeah,
or
but
no?
It's almost a drag. She doesn't have to. She doesn't have to go far, Puck. For her, 50 feet's a mile. So yeah. So
not like our dogs. If you don't get them like 4 miles or run them for an hour, like throwing the ball, it's no good.
No, and then the good news with Charlie, she doesn't mess with the grass. I mean, she just little nuggets is all she leaves. So I mean, I can pick those up and throw them.
What did you say Charlie gets again? What is that thing called?
So Puckett is really tough for me when it's grooming time, and my wife usually sets it up, and I have to drop her off.
Yeah,
and they're like, "Chris, what would you like today?" And I'm like, just about bath and tidy today." So
it's
bath and tidy. Yeah, that's like the quick groom thing once a month. But yeah, she gets in there. And
Joel said, Joel was like, "Isn't a bath and tidy what Justin Tucker was asking for?"
Oh, ouch! No, little Charlie does not do that. But Charlie, good dog.
Not to your knowledge, yeah.
No, good dog. She's a fun dog. She's very fast, Jim. Very fast.
Yeah, sleeps in bed with you.
I'm going to say this, guys. I've been in Tacoma for 2 days now watching the Rainiers, and I agree with you guys both on this. Cole Young he's just raking the ball right now. But I also want to just kind of bring everybody down. The pitchers that were pitching for the Bees, as my son Austin, these are not your major league pitchers that the Bees were throwing out there. So, I mean, they're raking pretty well right now, but just there's a little difference between the AAA pitchers and the major league pitchers. I just want, because everybody's jumping on this
timeout. Jim, were you aware that the pitchers in AAA are not in the majors?
I'm just everybody's just like, oh my God, get him up now! Bring Harry up, bring Cole up, and they just expect that just to like magically happen at T-Mobile Park. But sometimes we forget that it doesn't move like that. But
this guy's being glass half empty, Jim.
Chris, the other side of it, if they were facing these same Bees pitchers and going 0 for 5, we'd be like, well, geez, if they're going 0 for 5 against these guys at this level,
I know
they should never see the light of day at T-Mobile.
Jim, and now I'm going to go glass half empty, glass half full. That I actually agree with you that why wouldn't you bring up Cole Young? And why? And I'm with you, Jim. Yes, is he going to get the reps he needs? No, but Harry Ford he's a guy we've been talking about for 3 years. So why wouldn't you bring him up as a backup catcher? How long are we going to continue the Mitch Garver experiment? How long are we going to keep the Leo Rivas experiment going? And I'll go as far as saying I'm almost ready to see Tyler Locklear, guys. I'm almost ready to see him up at first base as well, too. I mean, why not bring these 3 guys up? So
That's right, Charlie. Charlie
yeah,
agrees.
Yeah. So I'm just, why wouldn't you bring? I feel like we've seen enough from the other guys at this point. I don't know if you guys agree or disagree with that, but I think it's time to see what these kids can do.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you listen to Chuck Powell in the mornings too.
Well, I mean, Jim, even though it wasn't a major league pitcher, watching Harry Ford take one to the Fred Meyer parking lot, watching Cole Young spray the field, these guys are hot right now. And coming off that Astros series, coming off of a 3rd straight home loss series, this Mariners team needs a little, they need a little spark right now. And what did we talk about at spring training? What did we talk about at the end of the last season? I mean, let's go back to spring training. Dan Wilson, Logan Gilbert, every single game matters. We have to, every single game matters. Well, if every single game matters, we can't lose 2 out of 3 to a Nationals team. But we just did. So if every single game matters, you've got to find a spark, and you've got to do it now. So and if it's Cole Young and Harry Ford, then bring that spark up now. And if Harry Ford is like, oh, he's just not getting enough reps, then put him back down. I don't know how it works setting him back.
Well, but you see, for both of them, though, a little bit of the conundrum, it's not a big deal, but a little bit of the conundrum is they're not on the 40-man roster. So you bring them both up, you got to release somebody. You got to get rid of somebody. Yeah. So I don't think they'll do it with Ford. I agree that Young is going to come up, but I highly doubt you're going to see Harry Ford at all.
Puck, why wait on Young? Why are we waiting on this? Don't you agree that didn't they sit there at spring training and say every single game matters?
Yeah.
So there's a game tonight. There's a game tonight.
Maybe he'll be up tonight. Maybe as we get finished with this, we get the news that they've done it.
Yeah, I mean, it takes 40 minutes to get from Tacoma to Seattle.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Well,
no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Puck, I've driven it thousands of times. If there's no traffic, he can make it. If he does the commuter lane, I'll drive with him.
If there's no traffic.
If there's no traffic, when is in the God's name has there never been traffic?
If there's no construction.
Puck, when I'm driving home at 2 a.m., there's no traffic. So he's got
God.
So he needs to get going now.
It takes 40 minutes to get from Cheney Stadium to the Tacoma Dome.
The best here, Puck. The best is Ed Egan. We go to the game and he's leaving early. We get out to his car and there's just monster truck that is parked right next to him.
Of course, you're in T-Town. You got it.
And he can't get into his car. So what is Ed Egan? God dang it. We're towing it, Chris. We're towing it out of here. And I go, what? I parked here first. I go, Dad, let's not tow let me try to squeeze in and get your car out of there. And just Ed Egan was ready to get that truck towed out of there. But people, if you have a big truck, come on, respect where you're parking, please.
Big trucks, man. They'll get it. Just the big monster, like the Bigfoot wheels on it.
And they just think they can park anywhere. and just, at that point, if you have the big truck, you need to find a back parking spot.
Yeah, right.
Chris, do you think it's true what my wife says, that if you have a big truck, you have a small penis?
Well, I know a couple of people at work that have those big trucks.
Name names. Copeland? Copeland?
I'll wink once if it's yes.
Marriott.
No, Rich. I think Rich is a Volvo driver.
Can you really? I couldn't imagine Rich.
He's well endowed then.
I mean, he'd have to take a trampoline.
He's a little man, but just in height only.
Yeah, he would pick up the trampoline, bing, drop him up. Come on.
Oh man.
You guys both. Well, Chris, I don't know if you saw the story By the way, is it a little too? It's 10:45. We already going into the Diet Coke.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Okay. Jim sent me this article, but it was on the front page of the website of the Seattle Times. Have you read the Travis Snider story today?
No, I'm not. A
it's
big
really good.
I'm not a big reader, but read it to me.
I'm not a big reader. Jesus, you're a teenager. You know that? That's what you are. A freaking teenager. It is a fabulous.
I want you to read the story, but I just went off on both of my teenagers. I mean, I did the old. I wrote down everything I've spent on them in the year, and these guys haven't. They haven't offered to mow the lawn with me one time.
God.
One time.
I get the daily argument I get to with both of my kids. Can you go pick up the dog poop? Go do it. Yeah. All right. So Travis Snider is, of course, everybody. I don't know if everybody knows Travis. If you remember him, he was a Jackson
Mill
High
Creek
School,
Little League, wasn't he?
Mill Creek Little League superstar. And first round draft pick, Blue Jays, had 8-9 year career in professional baseball, and solid. Never, I guess, in his words, never lived up to that true superstar billing, but he made it. He's part of the 1%ers that make it in professional sports. He did that. So he has started a new company. It's a really good read. Shane Lance wrote the story for the Seattle Times. It's really good. And he has started a company called 3A Athletics, which they seek to help fix the culture of youth sports. And it's offering resources to educate parents and coaches and even kids, just how intense and overbearing ways that youth sports can be. Because he says his point is the current system he sees right now is that it can be this system that is setting up kids for failure because of the priority of the parents and the coaches about winning and doing everything to win and not focusing on what's the important thing, and that's to have fun and develop and all that. So I know you don't like to read. I'm not going to read the whole thing.
Yeah, I'll read. I'm going to take once in a while. I will read, Puck. So I will. Yeah. I'm going to read this. This actually sounds pretty good. It's
really, really well done. And if you go to his website, the 3aathletics.com, there's a story. The CBS Evening News a while back did a story on him, actually right at the start of the baseball season, and they detail a parent who was of a youth baseball player who was his coach. Who stopped coaching because he was one of those coaches that went too far with his kid and the mom stepped in and said, you need to take a timeout. You can't coach anymore. And then they got together with Travis's company and he changed the way that he talked to his kid and how he doesn't coach anymore, but how he watched his kid and just said, it's not about winning anymore for me. I don't care if he wins. It's just about watching him, have fun and have a good time. So it's really good.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned fundamentals and taking away from that. I remember speaking at length with Cal Raleigh at spring training, and we were talking about switch hitting. And we talked about his development of switch hitting, and he says he believes Game Changer and parents have ruined that with a lot of these kids. Because what do these 10 and 11 and 12-year-olds do with their parents? They sit on Game Changer and they look at their batting averages. And early on, Cal said his dad didn't care what his batting average was. He wanted him to hit left. He wanted to hit from the right side. If he was only hitting 100 on both sides, he didn't care, as long as he was developing himself as a switch hitter. And now all these kids are just so focused on Game Changer and their batting averages that they're losing out on the fundamentals. And it's okay to fail. Baseball is a game of failure, but as you said, these kids don't want to fail, and they all want to be the greatest when they're 10 and 11. And now we just continue to we got 12 uniforms for some of these kids. They're flying to Knoxville, Tennessee to play in the Great American International Classic, against, I love it. One year we went to South Carolina. I think we played a team from Sumner. I'm like, what are we doing here? What's happening? What type of scam am I in?
I think it was just, for those who are parents, I'd read it just to go, and even for myself, I'm in it right now. It's just a good reminder what the priority of all this is right now. I mean, Jim, is that what you kind of took away from it? You read it because
Oh,
you like
I
to
did,
read.
you know, and Chris, it's kind of funny because I was a sports writer for years, but I don't read as much as I should. And so typically when a story is, you know, longer than 6 or 8 inches, I stop and I move on.
I'm with you.
But this story was longer than that, and it kept me interested until the end because as a parent, you know, all of us have had our kids play ball, and Chris, you still have kids that are doing that, but and you too, Puck. I mean, come on. But yeah, you just see so many different things. And the one thing that stuck out to me the most, and we've talked about before, is that drive home and how kids just can't stand that drive home because the dad is nitpicking like, hey, you know, that was a good at bat you had in the first inning, but boy, what happened in the fourth inning where you swung at that ball outside the strike zone or whatever, you know, when kids don't really want to be hearing that at all. And so it sounds like Travis is addressing all of those things along with, you know, it's bitching at the umpires and everything else.
It's interesting too, guys. The more stories I do through the years and hearing from Travis, is a former, obviously professional athlete, as you said, Puck, less than 1%. It seems like sometimes those are the ones that get it, and we need more from them. And I say this because I'm taking a kid that yesterday broke the state record in the mile, a record that had been held since I think 1992. Owen Powell from Mercer Island, I think it was 4 minutes and 3 seconds, somewhere along that. He won the state championship in the mile. He won the state cross country championship. Both of his parents are the UW long distance coaches, and they are phenomenal. I mean, they've turned UW into like long distance. Like if you're going to run long distance, you go to the University of Washington now. And I just remember sitting down with this kid, and he's just a great kid. He has fun. He smiles. I said, how much do mom and dad, are they on you on these? And he goes, they don't say anything. And they let the Mercer Island coach me, and they let me go out. I mean, if I ask for advice, they'll give it, but they don't ever pressure me. They don't put anything into me. This is a kid that grew up playing soccer, did a bunch of other things, and his dad is trained Olympic athletes. And look at this kid. I mean, this kid he's going like that because he wants to do it. He's having fun, and he's not feeling the pressure. And it's right. It's sad sometimes when you see these parents putting so much pressure on these kids out there, and it's just unfortunately, it doesn't work out.
You know, as Puck would point out, and I'll point out before he will, that he, you know, hardship growing up on Mercer Island, and to overcome those things and become what he's become.
So what did he talk about the challenges of the mean streets of the Rock? Like, Chris, honestly, was it safe to walk home after school there?
One of my favorite
dangers, when the sun went down and the lights came on, is that when the crime started there?
I love you too. I love you too. It reminded me of one of my favorite almost live episodes of all time when a truck goes into Mercer Island and he gets pulled over, and they go up to the guy and they're like, hey, sir, what are you doing here, sir? He goes, I think I took a wrong turn. He goes, where are you from? He's like, I'm from Puyallup. He goes, yep, we got to get you out of here. We got to. This is Mercer Island. We got to get you off the island. It's okay.
I mean, I think there's going to be a time where there's going to be like a gate on both sides, and we're going to have to pay to go through.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Hey, Puck, this is interesting. Not breaking news, but new news on this show. And I think it's all about education. And speaking of Mercer Island, I was on Mercer Island for a lacrosse story.
Shocker, lacrosse on Mercer Island.
Well, there's a girl, but this was interesting. And we sit here on this show. I saw the story.
It was well done.
No, but we sit there on this show and we talk about all these people complain about why lacrosse isn't a high school sport. I learned a lot on this shoot when I went out there talking to a lot of the higher ups with lacrosse. They don't want it. They're happy with where they're at.
Why?
Because they control it. They control when their kids play. They control the playoff structure.
I got
you. You can have your select lacrosse coaches coach them in high school and coach them all year long in their select program.
I got you.
So they're actually
they don't want it to be. They don't want it to be recognized.
A lot of the higher ups do not, and I was like fascinated because every time we talk about girls flag football, like you'll hear these people. What about lacrosse? I'm like, well, I actually got got pretty tight with some lacrosse people, and they're like, you know what, Chris, we're fine with how we're doing it right now. So I'm like, oh, okay. So there you go. So yeah, that way they don't have to worry about the WIA sanctioning their coaches and who coaches where. So that was fascinating to me. You learn something new every day.
Hey, Jim, have you, Chris? Have you been following Jim's ongoing battle with the Root Sports app? Have you been able to figure it out? Were you able to watch the game yesterday, Jim?
I did not see a single play of last night's game because I was looking at
the app
at the
still does not
venue.
work.
The app, no, but good news because Stevie and Mikey are down here, and God, the outdoor TV is fantastic. I got to tell you, yeah,
it's a game changer.
It's worked out great. Well, last night I finally figured out that if you go from the Root Sports app on my iPad, that it seems to cast up there fairly well with the AirPlay feature. Okay. So that worked. Last night was the first time that it worked. The other times, though, when I tried to do it with rootsportstreaming.com, Chris, I would click on it. You go to the homepage, it says watch now. And you're kind of like going, okay, that's what I want to watch now. So you click on watch now. And then what it would show you is Brad Adam with Maddie Acta playing golf, or Jen Mueller cooking with Leonard Williams.
Oh, I love that.
Or beach volleyball or surfing.
One of my favorite ones is the Jen Mueller and Leonard Williams cook-off.
It would on my iPad. It would show like somebody warming up, George Kirby warming up to pitch, like he's getting ready to start the first inning. Then when I clicked the watch now thing, it would show Jen Mueller cooking. And so anyway, the Mariners were cool about it. I was a dick on Twitter, complaining about it.
Did Tim Hevley really reach out to you?
Yeah, he responded to me, and then he put me in touch with Ben Mertens, who's in their content and creative department. He got back to me and tried to explain things, how they're trying to work out some of these kinks.
Why does Tim Hevley take care of you so much? You don't do anything for Tim Hevley.
He loves Jim.
You know why? Because I used to be Tim Hevley's boss back when we were in our 20s, and I was a good boss, and I think he liked me and respected me. Gotcha. And so 40 years later, he's taking care of me. Okay.
That's okay.
Hey, Jim, Jim, speaking over there at T-Mobile, I felt about as old as I've ever felt last Saturday night. I'm working at King 5 doing my 2 to midnight shift. There are 70,000 teenagers surrounding our building. There are 2,000 parents outside waiting for their teenagers. K-pop. Yeah. I couldn't believe it. In my 25 years, if somebody asked, in being down there by T-Mobile Park, if somebody came up to me and says, "What's the biggest event, Chris, you've ever seen?" The new answer is K-pop.
Okay. What is K-pop?
It's a Korean pop group, and Jim, I couldn't believe the amount of people were down there at 6 a.m. waiting to get merchandise. One dad said he waited in line for his daughter for 10 hours to get a shirt. I just was like, what world did I miss out on here on this K-pop? Puckett, is your kids into the K-pop?
Not into K-pop. No, they are not. Okay. They are not. They are not. But I know what you're talking about. It's a big deal. It's a big deal.
Believe it.
I thought you were going to go to the Kendrick Lamar thing. I thought that's what.
No, that concert was big the week before. But you had the K-pop, and then you also had a rave going on.
Oh, of course.
And
so some of the glorious night down there in Soto. Let's go.
Let's just say this line came out of my. That's my daughter. She's not wearing that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, oof. I think I said that about 9 times.
Good. All right. We got to wrap it up. Egan, on Monday, I expect you to be back at Ballard High School.
Okay.
To be doing a story.
Big one.
The state 3A champion Ballard Beavers.
Mount Vernon versus Ballard. It's going to be a battle.
Knock them off tonight, and then we move on to the championship game tomorrow. Wrap that up, and then I expect to see you back out there for a second visit to that high school celebrating a state championship.
And then we got a good one in Lake Washington taking on Puyallup tonight as well. 2 of the best pitchers in the state. Ballard going up against Xavier Nyans, the best player in the state. Also, I got to get these stats out. Jim, this just came out 2 days ago from a health report. The 3 best sports for your health, according to a national study. Three best: mental, physical, longevity. Number three, coming in at number 3, Puck, golf. You walk a lot, you talk a lot, you socialize. Number 2, any guesses?
No, but I know what number 1 is.
Yeah, yes, you do. Number 2 was number 2 was cycling, not the wear and the tear that the runners get on their backs, and number 2, cycling, and the new number 1 sport in the world for health, longevity, and mental happiness.
Sex.
Pickleball. You could get hurt on what you were talking about. And I'll leave you, and I'm going to leave you with it. I'm going to leave you with this, guys. My final note of the day. It's been a hell week here. I'm not going to get into it right now, but it's been a very rough week with a couple family members here, and I'm just going to, everybody listening, please call a mom, call a dad if they're still alive. Tell them how much you love them. Bury anything you got bad with them. And I didn't have anything bad with where I'm going at with this, but I just tell everybody out there, time flies, it goes quickly. So if you got a mom or dad still, give them a ring today for me. Give them a ring today. Give them a call and just say hi. That's all I'm going to say. Just simple as that. Let them know how you're doing. And that's all you can do right there. So
that's great advice, Chris.
Everybody. Simple, but please do it for me today.
Thank you, Chris, and enjoy the weekend. We'll talk to you next Friday.
All right, boys. Have a good weekend.
See you, Chris.
There is Chris Egan. Some good advice on his way out. All right, go enjoy the rest of your Friday into the weekend there in Bend, where you enjoy golf and sun and beer and white people.
Everything but the last one, but I will do what you're advising me to do, Puck, and
go golf. Right, where are you golfing today?
I'm nowhere actually.
Tomorrow we got.
No, I'm gonna go into Redmond though, because I'm trying to be a golf course marshal at Juniper, and I met with a guy about that, so I'm hoping to be a member of the Juniper golf course team.
Great golf course. Yeah. Enjoy that very much. All right, enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you Monday. Go Cougs.
Okay, go Cougs. See you later.
There he is. Jim Moore with us Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Big thanks to Chris Egan as well. He joins us every single Friday. All right, time for the Scout. It's our weekly visit with our scout, who has been a scout in Major League Baseball. They've been working in baseball for the past 30 years, currently works for a Major League Baseball team. Of note, was down in Tacoma all week long, scouting the Rainiers. Why? So we talk about that. We talk about Cole Young. We talk about Harry Ford. We do talk about the Ballard game tonight, taking on Mount Vernon, because they got 2 players that are going to be drafted in the Major League Baseball draft. Xavier Nyans, who's going to go in the first round for Mount Vernon, and then Ballard has a kid by the name of Truett Madonna, who will be a kind of mid-round selection, who is committed to UCLA. Here it is, our Friday visit with the Scout. Time of week to talk to our scout, the real scoop on the Mariners and baseball, from our anonymous baseball scout who currently works for a Major League Baseball team and has been covering the sport for the past 30 years. This is one of my favorite days of the week. Scout, the sun is out, baseball is here. How are you?
I'm fantastic. It's a great day for baseball, Puck.
It is a great day for baseball. I know that you will be very interested in a playoff state playoff game that's going to be taking place today in Yakima, because I know that you have a very much an understanding of several players, but 2 players in particular that will be playing. I will tell you, the city, the town, the community, I guess, of Ballard is abuzz, because the Ballard High School Beavers are in the state semifinals, where later this afternoon, as whenever someone's listening to this, the game could be over by now, but they're taking on Mount Vernon, who has a young man by the name of Xavier Nyans, which is just a great baseball name, who is going to be a first-round pick in the Major League Baseball draft. He's a shortstop. Shoot, he might probably be a top 20 pick. And then Ballard has a catcher. We've talked about him before, Truett Madonna, another great baseball name. But the community of Ballard is all excited for the Ballard Beavers to watch their Beavers try to get to the state title game. But 2 really exciting players that we've talked about before. Scout, let's first talk about Xavier Nyans. You don't see this a lot out of this state. I mean, it happens, but a left-hand hitting shortstop who, again, is going to go top 20. What a special talent this kid is.
Yeah, I've known Xavier. I've seen Xavier play for many years now, since he's about a freshman in high school. So, forget the tools. A great young man. Like, he's worked extremely hard to get to this point, to be one of those top, prospects in the country. So, like I said, great kid, great family. They've like I said, they've really worked hard to put himself in this situation. Playing wise, like he's a big, physical, strong high school player. Hits left-handed. He's going to be more of a third baseman. You probably project him as a corner infielder, corner outfielder in professional baseball, like third base, first base, right field, left field. Those are kind of his positions, but he plays high school shortstop. But he's got as much power as anybody you'll ever see. So, like I said, he's a great young man that's done an unbelievable job for Mount Vernon, and great to be able to, hopefully, I'm quite sure on his end, he's, trying to culminate his high school career before he signs a contract or goes down to Oregon State University with the state championship.
Yeah. What you'd mentioned it at the start, just a great young man. I mean, obviously a great player, but I've seen stories, a story that King 5 did on him. He just seems like a very humble young man, and a great family background. The ego's pushed aside, and it just seems like that's something that a lot of people that have interacted with him, it's like the first thing that stands out about this kid before you even get to his ability on the field.
Yeah, I think mom and dad, Steve, they've done a really nice job with them. Just keep him grounded. I mean, on the prospect side, on the amateur side, there's a lot of kids that I evaluate, that I have to meet with, and they don't even go to high school anymore, Puck. They go to online school, and they don't go to public school. Everybody transfers. They all play with one school, and that's one of the great things I feel about X, is that he stayed at Mount Vernon and just goes to school. He's just a normal guy that just is really talented. I don't want to give out too much information that I'm not privy to, but I do know that, on some of the NIL money or that he's made, he's already given back. I want to say that I think he put up a new fence at the high school field, or maybe it was a backstop, or it was something that I just thought to myself, a young man that wants to already give back to his community in the high school that's given him so much, just some maturity beyond his years, and really a credit to him and a credit to his family for really doing this in the right way, in my opinion.
You mentioned something there that I was talking about in the show today. Has the NIL world reached into high school athletics now?
Yeah, it has. I'm not firsthand I have more knowledge, Puck, on the kids that are going to college and kind of the money that they're receiving at the college level. I just did read something the other day, and I don't know if it was true or not, about kids that are like committed to SEC football schools, that they're now being paid monthly just to keep their commitment. I don't know if that's true or not, but I do know college athletics is not the college athletics that you and I grew up on. I mean, it's become the haves and the have-nots. And I know you're a huge Coug fan, and your time in Pullman, and what a great institution that they have. But schools like that, they're, the NCAA is ensuring that those schools like that are just falling so far behind, and it's actually really sad, in my opinion.
Is there sometimes well, I like this game, but I understand when you do the comparison game, it brings this undue expectations or pressure. Is there someone that would be familiar, and maybe in Major League Baseball, that Nyans would compare to right now? There's some similarities to him.
Oh, shoot. Gosh. I mean, he's kind of a weird, it's a weird comp, but if you look at any type of really athletic third baseman, but the Brome from Philadelphia, there's some guys that I like, but they all kind of hit right-handed. He has the advantage because he's that big physical hitter that hits left-handed. So he kind of hits like a first baseman, but he's got the skills to play defensively like a third baseman. So if you look at certain types of guys, that's kind of how I look at him, because he's got a really big arm. He doesn't have a Manny Machado arm, but in professional baseball, scales are on 2 to 8, and with 50 being an average major league, and 80 being elite, and 60 being above average. X has got a 60, 65 type arm, so he can really, really throw, and he's got probably 70, 75 raw power. So I think I'd have to combine some guys, but you'd have to combine 2 special type guys, but that's what I see.
Guys are taken in the first round, especially, let's say he goes in the top 20. I mean, I would assume, especially out of high school, what's the percentage that sign and the percentage that end up going to college? And has it changed? Has NIL changed that in a way?
Yeah, it's changed it a lot. And also nowadays, there's only 20 rounds in the major league draft. So you could used to, in the past, you'd see guys get drafted and sometimes not sign. Very rarely, does a kid get drafted, whether it's rounds 1 through 20 and they don't sign. But usually in the first round, most clubs have come to an agreement with that player prior to that pick being selected because they don't want to lose that pick. So, lots of things can happen. And you know, kids have a number. Nowadays, they have agents and advisors, so you really kind of never know, you know, what they exactly are going to sign for. But like I said, if you see his name being drafted next year or this year in the first round, you can have a pretty good idea that he's already come to agreement when it comes to the dollar figure.
Let's revisit the other player that's going to be in the game this afternoon. We've talked about him before. Truett Madonna, the catcher for Ballard High School. He's committed to UCLA. We expect him to be drafted. Do we know? I'm asking you to speculate. What's the buzz where Truett possibly could get selected in the draft later this summer?
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't even want to speculate for other clubs. I just know he's one of those guys. He has the physical gifts for sure to be one of those, top 5 round type big picks. He's 6'3", he's 250 pounds. He's got an above average arm. He's really coming, he's only been catching for 2 years. And as you've seen him, he's a physical young man that's got power too. So I think he's one of those guys after the season's over. The draft's not until July 15th now. So a lot of teams, make some more decisions in June when players go to the draft league. They sometimes go to the combine and there's those private workouts. And he's a little bit hidden just because he wasn't kind of on the national scene. High school players nowadays to get drafted really, really high, they've kind of be on that national scene that their junior summer. Mm-hmm. And he kind of wasn't on that scene. Not that he wasn't good enough, but sometimes, like for instance, the big workout, the big showcase is always the area codes for the West Coast players. And poor Truett had food poisoning the first 2 days, so he missed the first 2 days of that. So that didn't help him last summer. But talk about a fantastic kid from a fantastic family. Like I couldn't like a young man more than I like Truett. He's the type of kid that you want your daughters to marry. So he's got a bright future. Whether he goes to UCLA. Yeah. And plays for Coach Savage, or he starts his professional career. I truly believe that Truett Madonna is going to play in the big leagues every day and be an everyday catcher.
And that's his spot, right? You're not moving off that. Catcher is his.
No, I think he's he was a high school shortstop, third base, and he's been catching the last 2 years. And the thing about catching is that you got to want to be back there. He wants to be back there. He thirsts to catch, and sometimes I see guys catch. And don't want to be back there. And a lot of times, I'll be completely honest with you. You'll see that third baseman, high school shortstop and third baseman that's probably not going to be athletic enough or good enough to play that position. Well, the great transition is to go behind the plate because they've got good feet and, good hands and those types. And that's exactly what he did. So, over 162 game seasons, obviously locally, you guys talk a lot about, Cal Raleigh and just the physicality of that position, how guys don't catch 160 games because they just wears them down. And all catchers get wore down, but it's nice to have that physical strength like Truett has, because he's going to be one of those guys that's going to be able to catch 130 plus games a year.
Well, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to see two of the best players in the state go at it this afternoon, and hopefully Ballard can be victorious and move on to the state championship game. All right. We've talked about this young man a lot. He continues to make it very difficult on Jerry DePoto and Hollander and all these guys. And Cole Young is just on an absolute heater right now for the Tacoma Rainiers. He's putting up just astronomical numbers in the month of May and making it difficult for them to not call him up. We've talked about how he's forcing their hand. Sounds like this is going to happen sooner rather than later. Jerry DePoto talked to the press a couple of days ago and said it's on the horizon. Is it the right decision to bring him up?
Well, I think it's the right decision if he gets to play. Like I said, he is on a heater right now. I'm actually, that's my coverage this week. I've actually been in Tacoma all week, so I've seen him play Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And I'll see him play Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Great player. So I was, I'm a fan of, the game, Puck, but I'm also a fan of players. And I'm telling you, this guy's got a chance to be a really, really good player. I don't know if he's going to be an everyday shortstop or he's going to be a second baseman. The brief looks I've had him on the defensive side, I think he's going to be I think he could be a solid shortstop. I don't think he's going to be a plus defending shortstop, but I think he could be a plus defender at second base. But it's all about his bat, right? He's a left-handed guy. What he doesn't do, since I've watched him, he just doesn't swing at a lot of balls. He walks a lot. He swings at the strikes and he takes the balls, right? And he just comes up. When I go to a ballpark, Puck, for me to like you as a player, as a hitter, you got to give off those hitterish vibes, right? And he does. When he gets up there, as he strolls up to the plate, he just gives off he's going to get hit. And like right now, he's getting a lot of them. So, of course, it'll be a little bit different at the big league level. But I think he, God willing, he's healthy and those types of things. I think Cole Young is going to be playing in Seattle very, very soon and maybe for years to come.
I want to go more deeper into it. What does he do so well at the plate that just makes him not swing at bad pitches, contact, doesn't strike out a lot? I mean, just from his makeup at the dish, what is it about him that makes him such a special hitter, Scout?
Well, I don't know him. Obviously, I've never met him, Puck, and spoken to him directly, so I don't know this. I am lucky enough. I know their hitting coach with the AAA club, so I get you get some information. But first off, it's confidence. He walks up there like knowing he's going to get hits. That hitting's the hardest thing in all sports to do, and it's very, very difficult. And it starts with belief, and you can just tell he has great belief in what he does. So that's first and foremost. The second thing you talk about his swing, he's got a good swing. He's got bat speed. He's got strength. So he's got physical tools. I really like his approach. He really tries to stay up the middle and go the other way. But he also last night he hooked, or 2 nights ago, he hooked a couple balls and he just kind of beat the shift. So I've seen him hit the ball to all fields. I've seen him hit the ball against left-handers, against right-handers. I've seen him hit breaking balls. I've seen him hit fastballs. This week against Salt Lake, Salt Lake's got some guys that with big fastballs at the end of the ball game. They've got some bullpen guys, 96 up to 99 miles an hour. And, you'll see that all the time in the big leagues. And he just doesn't seem phased. He gives off this thing where he looks like he has a short memory. He gets away with the negativity and gets to the next play. And he just kind of plays with that. He kind of plays with some swag, and I really like his game.
Yeah. And then you mentioned before, if they do bring him up, this is one of the situations where he's got to play the majority of the time, right? You can't bring up a guy like this and have him sit.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd use all the time, but it's got to be more than majority, and it doesn't have to be all the time because all it does is stunt your growth. I mean, baseball is you got to play every single day. So for one, obviously the Mariners are, they're trying to win a pennant in the World Series. So he has to be able to go up in that situation to help that ball club win, which I think he could. I'm quite sure at times I could see if they're facing, a really, really nasty left-hander, I could see him, getting a breather from time to time. But if they bring him up, they're not bringing him up. Those guys that get called up, Puck, they don't play. We call them eaters. All they do is eat. They get the meal money. Well, this guy's not an eater, man. When this guy gets up in the big leagues, he'll be playing every single day.
Some talk has also been about Harry Ford, but Harry's in a little different situation because he's not a guy that you can bring up and play a lot because you have a catcher right now that it's the best catcher in baseball and there's starting to be MVP buzz around Cal Raleigh. Your time spent down in Tacoma, share with our viewers what you've seen so far from Harry Ford.
Yeah, first I'll talk about just how difficult. It's probably a difficult situation for the Mariners' upper management when it comes to Harry because of Cal Raleigh. Not only Cal is probably one of the best catchers, if not the best catcher in baseball right now, he's also a switch hitter, right? So he's, he doesn't need to get rest against left-handers or right-handers. He just kind of flips on both sides of it. So it's hard to bring a guy up when the guy ahead of you is shoot, if the MVP voting was right now, would he be right in the middle of it?
Absolutely.
I mean, he'd be one of those guys be in the middle of it. So you can't, and once again, Harry's like Cole, where you can't bring him up to sit, you got to bring him up to play. So what do? So, and what besides getting big league at bats against big league pitching, where Harry needs to develop is to catch. Right. So I think being at AAA, catching every single day, because just in my brief look with Harry, he's still got work to do to be an everyday catcher on the defensive side of things. And also obviously offensively too. So it's in a weird spot right there. And then also, people talk about, hey, you got to trade Harry Ford for a bat here and there. Well, what's the depth in the organization if Cal went down? If Cal went down, and obviously the Mariners wouldn't be happy about that. But when it comes to injuries in baseball, catching's the place you can get injured the most. You can take one off the finger and those types of things. So, just to give the Mariners a little bit of break on that, that's in a tough situation. I wouldn't want to be Jerry DePota right now having to deal with that. It's nice to have the embarrassment of good players having those issues. That's a good issue to have, not a bad issue. When it comes to Harry. He's on a heater right now too, as well. And like I said, I talked to Sean O'Malley, the AAA hitting coach for the Mariners, and he just said he's playing really good baseball right now. Mm-hmm. He also he plays with a swag, but he seems to play with a smile on his face, right? He just seems to have. I watched him in Everett, and he had that same kind of positivity about him. Mm-hmm. The last 2 nights, he hit 2 of the farthest balls I've ever seen. Last night he hit the farthest ball that I've ever seen at Cheney Stadium, Puck. So he's got power. He's got bat speed. He just, like I said, he's a good player, and he just needs a little bit more time. And I think right now he's in a wonderful situation for his development because they don't have to rush him. If they didn't have any catching right now, if they didn't have a Kyle Raleigh, I could see a guy like that being called up. And sometimes when you get called up too early, it stunts your growth, and you're never maybe the player that you need to be. But he is going to be a good, solid major league player, whether it's with the Mariners or with somebody else. And, part of me feels like it might be somebody else just because you've just signed your all-star catcher to a long term contract.
Yeah, he seems prime as trade bait.
Yeah, you'd think. I mean, because, like I said, they've talked a lot about the Mariners offense, and if they're going for a trade with somebody, I have to believe that the Cole Youngs and the Harry Fords are going to be the first people that your trade partner is going to talk about. No idea. It's not appropriate for me to speak on the Mariners or what they should or shouldn't do. Sure. I know they've got good players, and I think they're in a good situation to have those trading pieces. To have those pieces to be able to go out and get a proven major league player. And sometimes fans and people, they get disappointed when guys get traded out. We didn't like him. No, you didn't. They love him. Harry Ford's great, but who do you want in the big leagues right now? Do you want Harry Ford as your catcher, or do you want Cal Raleigh as your catcher?
Is he ever a candidate for a position switch? They flirted with it last year in left field. It didn't go well. You think they've put that to rest, back burner, and say, no, we're not going to do that? Or is that maybe still a possibility, you think?
I think it still could be a possibility because he's an athletic enough guy. Some guys are catch. Like, if Cal wasn't catching, I'm quite sure he's probably played some first base in his life, maybe. Once again, I don't know. Harry's a different type of athlete. He's a solid runner. He moves well. He could be able to do that. When I first saw him, I wasn't sure if it was like a Craig Biggio type. Craig Biggio started behind the plate and he went to second base. I kind of thought that might be something that he did. But I do think his catching needs to get better, but I do think he caught the ball better in the last 3. I've watched him for the last 3 nights, and he's definitely caught the ball better.
Scout, great stuff, man. Good information on 2 exciting players in high school baseball that are squaring off this afternoon. Xavier Nyans from Mount Vernon, Truett Madonna from Ballard, semifinals of the 3A state championship. That's later today. Great stuff on Cole Young and also Harry Ford. The Scout, the real scoop on the Mariners and baseball from Anonymous Baseball. Scout currently works for a Major League Baseball team. Has been covering the sport for the past 30 years. Been down in Tacoma scouting the Rainiers. You know what that means. Something's brewing. I feel something's up, but we don't know. We won't press the Scout on what he knows or does not know. Scout, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll catch up soon.
Thanks, Buck.
Big thanks to the Scout for joining us every Friday, giving you the inside scoop on the M's in baseball. Okay, if you missed it, go back and watch or listen to it. It'll be up soon at noon. Really good stuff. Good stuff on the high school kids, Xavier Nyans and Truett Madonna, who are playing today, Ballard versus Mount Vernon state semifinals. That's why we're all Ballard out. Also, amazing insight there on Cole Young. Cole Young and Harry Ford there as well. Fun Friday show. Love having the scout on every single week. All right, we got to get on out of here real quick because we got to go watch a playoff game. Hey, What the Puck is brought to you by Restoration One of North Seattle. Your restoration company lets you avoid the stress of water, fire, and mold damage with their property restoration services. Locally owned and operated. Make them your first call when those damages affect your residential or commercial property. 206-817-8917. Visit them online at restoration1.com, the North Seattle franchise. All right. Piggyback on what we talked about a little bit with Egan and more about youth sports. And I really do a fabulous article written in the Seattle Times detailing Travis Snider, former first-round pick in Major League Baseball, a new company that he has started, 3A Athletics, about reinvesting the fun in youth sports and making sure that youth sports isn't this pressure cooker that we all have a hand in doing it, myself included. And then that article also just caught myself just reminding myself that this isn't, at the end of the day, the wins and losses, that's not important. It's about relationships, development, making sure the kids are having fun. It really needs to be that focus. And as we as adults, and it's okay that we forget it sometimes, we got to learn from it, though. We got to get better and always remind ourselves what the end goal is here with youth sports in particular. It's supposed to be fun. I mean, really, all sports is supposed to be fun. Youth sports is supposed to be fun. What we cannot do as adults, whether you're a coach, family members, is turn the sport off for someone at a young age. The second we turn the sport off for someone, we have not done our jobs as parents and coaches. And the talent will always weed itself out. Better players rise up, but we don't ever want to rob the love of the sport for the kids. And we can do that as parents and coaches. We can rob that love of them with the negativity, with taking it too serious, building up the pressure too much. I've got to remind myself a lot about it. I do. I'm not perfect. No one's perfect. And I just thought that was another great reminder today, reading that story from Travis Snider in the Seattle Times, watching a video that CBS News did on him a while back. I encourage people to go read it, look up the stuff that Travis is doing. Great job on his part to try to make youth sports fun again and get rid of that negative culture that has built around it. We're going to try to get Travis on the show, by the way, and hopefully that will happen very soon. That is, Hey, What the Puck, brought to you by Restoration One. Give them a call, 206-817-8917. Visit their website, restoration1.com, the North Seattle franchise. Big thanks, everybody watching and listening today. Thank you to all the sponsors, Limbeck Lumber, Clean Streak, Georgetown Brewery, of course, Restoration One. Today's Daily Puck Drop, of course, find it up on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. Also, find the Daily Puck Drop on your favorite podcast platforms and at pucksports.com. When you're at pucksports.com, sign up, become a member of the Pucks Posse. $5 a month. You support all the free content we do. Plus, you get VIP and bonus shows. Our baseball coverage with Ryan Divish, Sports Pit with Steve Sandmeyer, Matt Stretch Johnson. Our new feature on Thursdays with Mitchie the Kid, Mitch Levy, every Thursday. He's during the live show, then podcast later for subscribers. And then be sure to check out the new Graz with Gas Take 5 podcast produced by Puck Sports. New episodes every Monday on YouTube and all podcast platforms. Just search Graz with Gas Take 5. And, of course, you can find it up at pucksports.com. Everybody have a wonderful weekend. We'll talk to you on Monday. Go Beavs. Hopefully we'll talk Monday about celebrating a 3A state championship for Ballard High School. We'll see you Monday, as always. Promise to be better.
No shoes, no dice.
Would anybody like to smoke some pot?
Yeah.
I was born to love you. I was born to lick your face. I was born to rub you. But you were born to rub me first.
What do you need my address for?
We'd like to send out a mailer.
Mother of mercy, I don't speak Japanese!